Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to talk about Apple today. And is it possibly the biggest modern day fumble in general? So I'm going to read off some facts, and then we're going to talk about Apple, where it stands in our investment accounts, kind of the history there, and then probably our plans going forward with it. So just to kick this off, so this is Mike right here next to me. He might talk without a lag this time. I think we've upgraded him from AOL to I think cable. So congratulate him on that. Was quite the upgrade. Moving along. Anyway, June 29th, 2007 releases the first iPhone. Since then, 2.3 billion have sold. January 27th of 2010, they introduced the iPad. 600, we'll call it 678 million as of 2022. February 2010, Siri was introduced. I don't think anything's changed since then. October 5th, 2011, the innovator, he passes away. Steve Jobs, he dies. 2014, Project Titan begins. Their Apple car, which just ended, what, a few days ago? A week ago at this time?
What?
A couple weeks? The Apple
February,
car?
Actually, back in February. So almost, I guess, a little over a month.
It was that long ago?
Yeah, it's been a while.
I feel like it was just yesterday. Wow.
It does seem like it, doesn't it?
It's even here on the timeline. I'll just continue reading the facts. September 7th, 2016, the AirPods, which I got to say are absolutely amazing. 150 million. I'm a few of those just myself. April 24th, 2015, the Apple Watch was released, which is now actually a medical device.
Yeah.
For how many upgrades they've had on that. November 1st, 2019, Apple Plus, 25 million subscribers. Is that just... I think I have it, but is that just like a conglomerate? You can put all your streaming stuff in there and then access everything to one, I think.
Yeah. I mean, they've got their own TV series and everything else going on over there.
Okay. January 8th, 2024, Apple Vision Pro. We have a lot to say about this one. And then February 2024, they canceled Project Titan, and then they did move their stuff into their AI, right? We've so far we've got a leak of Siri 2.0, and then our latest news is they're gonna revamp or rework all their MacBooks with their new M4 chips geared towards AI. So maybe that's a large language model on board. I have yet to really deep dive into that, but how are you taking that news just in general? What do you think the chips are going to do?
I honestly don't know. I mean, this is kind of what the conversation's about, right? Like, have they dropped the ball, and are they going to get behind on this? Is introducing a new chip for their Mac really going to do much? I don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't know if the MacBook is going to be what sets anything apart. To be honest,
no.
We got. So Android, we knew this conversation was going to come up. I love making fun of Android because it's easy to do, and but you poor people with the green text. Well, right now, you can start to make phone calls and it does live translation. So we've seen the integration of everything, which often is the argument a lot for the Android people is they get something first and then Apple comes out with it. But Apple's such a perfectionist that by the time Apple does come out with it, it's just awesome. It's streamlined, and their ecosystem is just where the bar is set. So let's talk about some things Apple does have going for it. Their ecosystem is borderline annoying. One, I don't want to read my text messages on any of my Mac stuff. Behind this green screen, I got a Mac set up over there. I have another studio just to the left of me, also Mac. But like when I get a new item, it's like, oh, do you want to just set this up as new, or do you want to we can just reach out to any of your Apple stuff and all your apps, everything already just loads. And for some people, that's probably amazing. Maybe I'm just too much of a control freak. Like, let me just put what I want on there, and I don't want to read my texts on there. But that whole ecosystem makes it very easy to figure out and use. And I think it's probably why a lot of people have a hard time getting off of Apple.
Mm-hmm.
Just because everything's so easy.
I mean, here's an obvious thing going for them. They've got $40 billion in cash.
Yeah, that's not a positive, I don't think. That's actually going to go on one of my negatives later because
Okay.
what are you doing with it? You want to just jump into the negatives? How are you an AI company this big? You have this much talent underneath you, and you're dropping the ball. We have AI news every week, so much that I've even converted Don Francho, which was normally stocks, into AI just to try to keep everybody in the loop of things. And even you and I are researching AI every day. And it
Yeah.
seems like there are still rocks that need to be turned. And people that are in the AI space are like, man, even I didn't know about that. And I use this stuff every day. If you're not actively looking at everything, even working in the space, you don't you're not keeping up with it.
Right. Right.
Uh, so that bugs me that they have that much money. Like you have the access, you have all the tools necessary to be doing something, and the ecosystem. You have the platform, and here we are talking about this. Like
Mhm.
that bugs the crap out of me, to be honest. And it is up until so coincidentally, and if you're in my mentorship group, and you know this, I was literally talking. I was like, I guess I'm doing a deep dive on Apple because I'm trying to figure out. I was thinking at first I've said they are a sleeping giant. Naturally, that's just what I thought they would be. But then I'm starting to like you just start to hear the echo in the room. Like, am I just the only one here? I go look. So I started like looking into it, and then the next day, coincidentally, they come out with the new MacBooks. Right, they're going to rework everything.
Yeah.
Um, so just on the MacBook, what do you think that does? Bumps the needle? Does anything?
I don't think it does anything.
I think so.
Because I mean, from the way I look at it, you're either a PC person or a Mac person.
Mhm.
Changing the chipset isn't going to change your mind about which platform you use on a daily basis.
Yeah, I guess my pushback there, if that's even pushback, right now you might have a lot of people thinking because even I've thought about this, and I've never thought, should I get an Android phone? I wonder if this is more an attrition thing, like, hey, stay with your Mac because we are doing this. Because how many features do you see come out every day on something different? And you're like, oh, here's my Apple. Yeah, I wonder what feature they're going to take away next. I already lost the headphone plug. like,
Yeah.
what next? Um, Lisa
I
says
don't know.
anything is rock.
I um I just don't see that. I don't see the new chip actually doing much. It might help them if they do start to develop some AI. But I think that's the question: are they actually moving in the AI space fast enough, or are they just going to get clobbered by everyone else?
I think they already are. I think at this point they're trying to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
Um, what do you? So I have an idea
Mhm.
of what does move the needle. What do you think does?
I think they need to come out with a new version of Siri that actually is really interactive and actually has an LLM behind it, and a Siri that can act as a agent and not just a response tool.
Is that even a response to her now? Does anybody actually use Siri?
No,
I'm not gonna lie. I think she's worthless. I
no,
do.
I'm talking about like even ChatGPT is you create an input and it spits out something, right?
Okay.
Um, so I think if they really want to jump ahead, they're going to have to launch Siri with some sort of agents, and it can't just be like a ChatGPT knockoff.
It's going to be an action model as
It's going
well.
to have to be an action model. If they don't do that, I think they're in big trouble.
Yeah, I don't think it's more of a win, but I think the win is going to be the trouble because if it's win after everybody already switches over,
Right.
then what are you going to do?
Is it a
Uh,
comeback story if they do that later on?
no,
Right.
it's hard to get people to switch from one to the other, and if they let go of their Apple and they switch to an Android because it's got the new AI features. So they're right now. You and I have talked about this. They're getting rid of apps. They're getting rid of operating systems.
Hmm.
Pretty soon, they're trying to get rid of the internet. You'll just be talking to your computer, and your AI does everything. It's still connected to the internet. You're just
Hmm.
not going www or getting on Google.
Right.
So that's going to phase out. You have to lock in your people now, I think, So there
Right.
won't be a comeback story. It'll be they've already made their move. Why would I switch back to Apple to get what I already have, what I just got used to, and finally in the groove of things? I don't think you'll get people to come back.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think once someone actually develops AGI and actually has action models built into their systems, whether it's Android, Apple, it could be whoever, they're gonna start pulling away from the pack.
Yeah. Now, as far as moving the needle goes, there's one thing that I think is going to make or break this. I think phones might evolve. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt that phones might evolve fast enough to keep their iPhone. iPhone people are, well, both of them. You're stuck on iPhone or Android. People will fight to the death over that. I do think that only holds a certain amount of weight, but I'm thinking it'll be enough weight that the majority probably still has their iPhone by the time AI and action models do take over. But so we know the Tesla bot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every 90 days, it is actually Tesla's gonna be a great example for this. There's two products Tesla has. One gets an update every 90 days and it looks like a brand new something. The other one's been around for a decade and you probably couldn't tell. And it's the Model S. I could buy a 2024 Model S, and you could show up with a 2016, 2015, and what the headlights changed? Hardly. If you looked at the side of the car, I could lie to you and say my 2016 is a 2024, and you might not even know the difference
Right.
because it's like their new version comes up and it's literally nothing. But then you got the Optimus robot. Every 90 days looks like we just jumped ahead 10 years. So I think what might end up making or breaking this, because I'm still a big fan, of the, what do they call it? Mixed, not the mixed verse. What's it where there's mixed reality, where
Okay.
you have the goggles on, but you see the real world and just whatever monitors you toss up.
Yeah.
If version 2 of the goggles come out and it's a real version 2, not a 1.1 called to 2, if it can update at that pace, I think they become the sleeping giant because I do think that'll take over. Right now, they're what,
You talking about
3,000?
the Apple Vision Pro?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Right now, they're $3,000. And what tech is cheap when it first comes out?
Right.
If they can make that better and cheaper, much like any TV on the shelf as it comes out, I think they'll run away with it.
Yeah.
But it would have to be a race to get it down to. I think Meta still holds that market. If they were to get it to Meta's price point, and Meta's a different conversation, that surely they would make some updates to that. But if they were to get it down to that, the quality, the comfort, everything like that at Meta's price point, then I think Apple would be the I don't want to say winner, but it would be up there.
Yeah. I think if Apple can release a second version that actually has some functionality into it, like actually bring up kind of like, I don't know, I've seen a video where someone's got the goggles on, and they're augmented reality, and they're working on their car, right?
Mhm.
And it actually shows them what parts are what and what to do next.
Yeah,
If Apple can do that,
that's Meta, by the way.
is it?
Mm-hmm. They're wearing the
Then
Meta goggles.
then then I don't know. Now it's Meta. I mean, if Meta can do that now, I don't know. This is tough. I mean, I've been on the fence about like whether they need to replace Tim Cook at this point, because I just feel like Apple has just lost it.
Yeah, lost its mojo for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. And for the record, when Mike and I text each other, it does show up blue. So we both do have iPhones.
I do. Yeah.
Now let's talk about this because Apple's in both of our investment accounts.
Right.
I sold most of mine. Now I started to buy it back. Nowhere near what I had. I'd sold it at 175 when it first got up there. 75% of my position, if everybody doesn't know that. And then it jacked around. Now it's sold off. I started to get back into it. Right now it's my number 6 spot.
Yeah.
Which I want to say, coincidentally, is that not where yours is?
It's my number 6.
Okay. Now we just did a video talking about our top 10. We did no order in there, but just so everyone knows, Apple's, I guess, our 6th spot on both.
Yep.
What would it take to move the needle up? I guess up, down, drop it, or stay the same. Like what scenarios are you looking for to add into that?
So I am actually going to drop it, at least for now. It's still going to be in the top 10, but I think it's going to go down to, say, number 8.
Okay. Are you selling, or is the other one just going to get more allocation?
The other one will get more allocation.
Okay.
So Meta and Amazon will creep up.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was a glitch. I know you probably just heard was Meta. I don't know why he's even talking about that. What other ones are going to go up? You said Amazon and what?
Meta's my number 7. Amazon's my number 8. So I'm gonna drop Apple down to number 8 and move Meta and Amazon up 1 each.
I'm confused. How is Meta not your number 1 spot?
Well, Bitcoin's my number 1. Nvidia's number 2. Tesla's 3. Google's 4. Microsoft's 5.
Our Microsoft positions are the same as well.
Yeah.
It's just that we're going to have another stream to talk about this. This is unreal. We're saying the disappointment. Don's at a loss for words.
Yeah,
I am. This is Meta. Like Meta's that small.
Well, this is not the Meta show. We're talking about Apple. So
it's because this should be just a known thing. It's like DNA. All right.
Well, anyway, so to answer your question, I'm going to drop it for now because until I see some movement or until they release something that changes my mind, they have some work to do.
Okay.
I don't know. What are you thinking?
What does it get? What does it take to leave the top 10?
To actually drop it out?
Would the others have to go, or is there a scenario where you would sell it? Because I can understand maybe the other ones pick up and Apple doesn't make any changes, so you kind of have to just go with what you can. If the others start picking it up, or they just grow naturally. Because right now, Palantir and Apple are actually tied, but only because Palantir had sold off. So other than it moving up and down the list that way, what would get you to sell it?
If Google, Microsoft, Tesla, or Nvidia come out with a product that really is something more attuned to an AGI agent, I'll probably drop Apple at that point. Okay,
so you think, because there is going to be a first move advantage on this.
Yep.
Which we've talked about in the beginning was first move advantage will be kind of cool. It'll get you a jump start, but everyone will be right behind. How much of a first mover advantage would they have to have? Let's say Google comes out with goggles or an agent on your phone. How? I guess the stopwatch is probably started on Apple at that point.
Yeah, if they don't have something within a year after the first drop by anybody, I think they're toast. I don't think they're going to go away. I mean, I think they still have a good future in medical products, and that may be their saving grace, actually. However, I think the other ones are going to start pulling away.
I didn't think about the medical angle of it, because I'm sure everyone that follows me knows this. I got the craziest anxiety. And it was cool to have the watch on because I could check my heart rate and then realize maybe I'm not freaking out. So I wonder, surely I'm not alone, but also does that keep some people? Again, I guess it's the ecosystem that kind of keeps people around a little bit longer.
I think they would have to develop their medical products group
more.
Yeah, I mean the Apple Watch is cool, but it can only do so much. So I think they really need to start investing money into that. I mean, can you imagine going to a hospital and everything is an Apple product? I mean, that would actually be kind of cool.
It would. For all my followers, did you hear that? Probably a real possibility.
I mean, with AI, they could potentially do that. But are they? I mean, that's total speculation. I have no clue.
Mhm. Steve brings up a good point. He says it's cliche, but we're waiting for the next killer app. But then he says the thing that will compel the average person to buy something to gain something. He says a device, a subscription, a bot. Um, I agree. And right now, the only thing I think outside of them releasing a brand new product, now that would be exciting because if they did announce a brand new product, I think because what it takes for Apple to announce something is perfection. Um, and I don't mean that by that. That's not the Apple or Android argument. But by the time they do come out with something, it's made of metal, not plastic. You know, it is. The quality is just there. So by the time they come out with something, it's not exactly Elon. You know,
Yeah.
they'll come out and say you can order this Friday. Uh,
Yeah.
Without that, I think the goggles are the kind of like their last chance. Their phone is honestly just gonna, I hate to say this, but probably at this point gonna play catch up with Android because
Mhm.
if they announce live translations, sweet, everyone with the Samsung phone has that right now.
Yeah.
So congrats on one more argument the Android people have that Apple played catch up. I really do. The one thing I'm paying attention to that will bump this thing up to maybe even a top 3. Bumping into the top 5, that's 2 clicks for me right now. So if it moves the needle, it's going into the top 3. If they don't, the other ones will just start catching up and taking over. I think fairly quickly. If the goggles can update like the Tesla bot and be something real, where it can get in the hands of most. How many does anybody right here in the watching right now live? Do you guys have the Apple Vision? I don't know if anyone's going to say yes to that.
Probably not. I don't think they sold too many of them.
Can't imagine why.
They're a little pricey.
Yeah.
But people said that about the phone, right? So when the first phone came out, and they were like, "Well, it's almost $1,000," when everyone else was giving their phones away for, with the service.
Mhm.
That was kind of a crazy move. I mean, so I think the goggles just need to have more functionality, and then
Mhm.
people might pay that price point.
See, I think the goggles are very much at the infancy stage because, yeah, I see Steve here. He even says, I have no interest in it.
Yeah.
And right now, I was waiting for someone to bring up NVIDIA because during the NVIDIA GTC event, they created a digital version of a factory
Hmm.
walking through that factory with the Apple Vision Pros on, but also whatever hiccups they had along the way, they were fixing now. So by the time they made it in real life, it was just good to go,
Right.
which I thought was cool. But how many people are building factories? So that was going to be my comeback, like instantly, like very cool. But again, how many people are just going to wake up and build a factory one day? We
Yeah.
don't have a lot of Elons out there.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's the use cases right now that's holding it back.
yeah. And Steve, what would it take to get your interest in something like that? Not a lot of people are popping the hood and working on their own car because that would be cool. Have you seen the vacuum app? I'm sure it's in both. It's in Apple and Meta. It scans your floor, makes it like green, and as you vacuum, it erases it so you can see the carpet again. So you can 100% get every bit of your carpet.
I haven't
Oh,
seen that.
Steve says he's much more interested in Metas. Okay, so it's not a goggles thing. It was just a company thing. Tried it, hated it. Oculus is better for a tenth of the price.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I'm curious how many people in the chat have the Oculus. I have 3 of them. So I like it. I didn't. I mean, I have
Of
kids. I
course
don't like
you
them
got,
touching my stuff. So
of course you got 3 of them.
I think they're amazing. I'm on board with 100%. Uh, what reality is it?
Augmented.
Oh, okay, I'm thinking like alternate reality. I'm like, whatever, bring it on. I don't see any of my life right now. I like waking up and like the home screen on the Meta, the Meta ones. I feel like I'm sitting inside of a giant tooth. I don't know why it's like white and it comes down. You're looking up. There's hot air balloons. You can see the moon. Like I like that world. I don't need to see anything else. but I think it's so huge. I mean, it sucks because we're talking about AI and job replacement, but so right now, just sitting in front of me, camera, 4 monitors, I got 3 lights. Everything has its own power source.
Hmm.
But with the goggles, I could have literally a laptop and 6 monitors, still see everything.
Yeah.
I could be insanely functional.
Oh yeah.
I would require much less power, much less everything. If I lived in a studio apartment, uh, with I don't want to say cockroaches crawling around, but like just run down nothing, 300 square feet. If I was Harry Potter, I could still pretend I lived that best life with my goggles on. I just don't want to move around any, but it would feel spacious.
I know we're off topic, so but basically, are you ready for plugging into the Matrix?
Plugging into the Matrix, as in what? Something gets installed into me, or
Well, I mean, that's the evolution, right? So
I think
augmented reality, and then eventually it'll be virtual reality, and then eventually you'll be just plugged in.
virtual reality was the word I was looking for. I don't
Yeah.
think we better not get plugged in. No, that's too weird for me. Not
Okay.
plugging in.
Okay. Just
Uh,
checking.
I think Ready Player One is where it goes. Have you seen that movie?
I think so.
Um, Now I'm 1,000% on board that. And I've said that before because you can identify as whatever you want, and still go to the right bathroom. Not to get into that conversation, but you can be a pink elephant if you want.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a great place for people to express themselves. And in Ready Player One, their jobs were in there, their real money was in there. It was everything, and I do think that'd be cool because that eliminates travel for work, that eliminates a lot of things,
Sure.
and vacationing. Like if I want to go, I'm in Missouri, so if I want to go to the beach, it's which coast am I going to? There's a lot of travel and everything involved. I could just hop on that. It might not be the same, but I could still have that getaway. And I think people we're very obsessive, and can't really control ourselves, which is why I think those goggles are going to blow up. It's why I'm so big on Meta. When they announced virtual reality on the Meta goggles, I was both annoyed and pissed because like Meta's going down. I'm like, are you guys stupid? Like, you guys just don't see this? So anyway, that's why I started buying even more Meta when it got to the bottom. Um, and I think Apple's saving grace to bring it back to them is going to be these goggles because people are going to be living in those things, the second that technology is there.
So do you think there's hope for Apple, or is it are you kind of like me? Is like they're until they actually prove something new, they're kind of on the downhill slope.
I have enough Apple as it sits. And so I'll sell calls on Apple. I'll still make money on my shares. I don't like to have money just sitting there. That's silly.
Sure.
So I still create a decent income off of it. But for me to buy more, I'll tell you right now, it's going to the number 3 spot, or it's probably leaving the top 10 if the next version of the goggles come out. I guess when the next version of the goggles come out, we'll probably make or break it. Because right now, you have to have the battery pack in your pocket.
Okay, so your make or break is the next version of the goggles,
Hmm.
and my make or break is the next version of Siri.
I think Siri 2.0 is just inevitable. All that to me was, oh, now she wakes up. I've said her name so many times, and my phone literally just now woke up. That's why. And in case she's listening, just want to say you're beautiful still. Remember that when the robots take over. All right. Don't want to be mean to these robots. They're going to remember. But
Yeah, I know they'll have a Siri 2.0. It's really what's it going to do? That's kind of my make or
yeah,
break moment.
see, I don't think that's not even, that to me, I look at that as more attrition. I think more people will just stick around because it has it. If they don't, the more AI or language models or action models, the more they increase and the more you don't hang with it, you're getting left behind. Each customer you lose to Samsung right now because they have a live translation,
Hmm.
then that would be it. Imagine if you married someone from Mexico, Spain. They're speaking Spanish, and you actually like your in laws. Okay, but you have to have your wife just translate everything for you. Now you can call your in laws and have an
Hmm.
actual conversation. I bet.
Right.
I'm sure somewhere out there's already Apple who's already lost that exact customer. Um,
I wouldn't doubt it.
and so
That,
how
that's
many?
that's a huge feature.
Yeah, and it's how long is it gonna take for you to figure that out? Like they move at a snail's pace.
Hmm.
And this just isn't the boring company digging tunnels where that's an impressive speed.
Yeah, I think that was a good thing about Apple was what they would take their time and actually get something right.
Mhm.
Now I think the time that they take to get something out is really hindering them.
Yeah,
At the speeds that AI is coming out, and I mean, you and I talk about it. Like, there's a new announcement at least every week, if not every few days.
yeah. I would say it's twice. I would, without actually looking it up, I would I would put my money on the blackjack table right now that there's twice a week
Yeah,
there's some kind of new news coming out.
they can no longer procrastinate like they have been and
Mhm.
wait for perfection. Like they have got to get moving, or they are going to get left behind. That's kind of where I'm at this point. And so that's when Siri comes out, we'll see what's going on.
Yeah. But so let's take Google for example. Google, obviously the everyone's calling it the woke Google, right? Because of what it did with the pictures.
Yeah,
People are still using it. Like if you rush in AI, they laugh at it. It gets your 15 minutes of just infamous, internet time. But then everyone's right back on it. You do your little update, people are right back on it.
they'll
Like
fix it.
when ChatGPT gave out wrong answers,
Yeah,
people still went to ChatGPT.
yeah,
So Apple can wait and make theirs perfect, and that's cool and all. But by the time it does come out, if everyone else has already moved on, I would take a Chat GPT working 90% now over the Siri that's coming out in 4 years,
right, right.
and then just completely move. Uh, if Man, not that this would happen, would you still have your iPhone if you couldn't use ChatGPT unless it was a Samsung phone? What if ChatGPT had come out right now and said only Android devices can use it?
Oof. And the other ones, like say Claude, or the other ones are
If you were to completely
still
divide,
agnostic.
yeah, just in this scenario, every language model and action model is only green text people. That's it. They're helping the lower class out.
I'd have to switch over. I would. I
Mhm.
use Chat GPT multiple times a day now. Like it's already ingrained in the things that I do for work and
Mhm.
for life.
So the saving grace Apple already has is there's still avenues for it. You don't need
I
Siri 2.0.
I mean, I've got the Chat GPT app on my
Uh,
phone right there. It's like on the homepage because that's what I need to use all the time.
so what's Siri 2.0 going to do for you? Why would that be your moving the needle point?
Well, then I just won't need the app. I won't pay the extra $20 a month. I mean,
Okay.
if Siri can completely replace Chat GPT and become an action model, where like kind of like the rabbit, right, where it would set up your travel for you, do all the things that, like an action model should, and go get the real information, kind of like Chat GPT can.
Hmm.
That's what I'm looking for next.
Would you prefer to pay for it? What if they came out with Siri 2.0? They're still regular, but there's 2.0, $20 a month.
And it's got a same functionality as I'm hoping for.
Yeah, and we're rocking our
Yeah,
next YouTube video is a chart of their Chat
I'd probably
GPT 98%, their 97.8%.
I would do a quick test, and if it was comparable or even
Mhm.
just a little bit better, I could see switching over to a paid Siri Plus if it was a true AI and actually did what I needed to do.
Would that make you buy more Apple shares?
It would definitely keep it where it's at for sure.
That's my problem is because even just asking you that out loud is if they brought in a subscription model, that's cool. Money's not an issue. It's not Rivian. We're not trying to raise funds to keep the product alive.
Right.
We're trying to keep the I guess at this point the company afloat.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's really the crux of what we're talking about.
mhm.
Are they sitting on their sitting on their heels and not doing anything, and are they going to be too late to the game when they finally get something out, or the next version of whatever they have actually going to be something that saves them. That's the heart of what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. And Steve, again, bring up. So let's get everyone with the keyboard working right now. I want to see your answers in the chat. Do you think Apple is the reason we did this live and not a recording was to kind of interact with you guys, kind of like how I used to do ADHD this stream up. Do you think Apple is a sleeping giant or on the verge of being? Because honestly, this will be the biggest fumble, I think, modern day history for Apple to fall behind on AI. That would just be like Sprint, who put all their money in the walkie-talkie, saying the iPhone's never going to take off. No, not iPhones, smartphones. Sprint's no longer here. This would essentially Apple would be the next Yahoo.
Right.
But Steve says the key difference between delivering a tangible product versus a service. If you're delivering services, you can just do a rolling updates to improve. Once a physical product has been delivered, it's pretty much done. Yeah. He says, remember the early days of websites just kept getting better? Yeah. Chris says Apple is going to 0. You know, if he texts me right now, that text is green. Oh, gosh. Did we lose Mike? Oh, there he is. You can't sit still that long. I got nervous, Mike.
Oh, there you go. I'm back.
We did.
There was a problem.
Okay. Are you streaming from an Android phone?
But I'm back.
Lisa says Apple has lost their mojo. Mark says he thinks they fumbled. I'm curious, are there any Apple people? Now keep your opinions coming, but I'm curious if there's any Apple people that think they fumbled right now or they are fumbling, because that's where I'm at. I'm an Apple person now, and I was just going to show you guys my watch. As you said, the S word. It for some reason my phone didn't activate. My computer behind me did, and so on the ecosystem, my watch just let me know that my computer was unlocked. Like it's just kind of all cool stuff like that from anyone from a control aspect. That their ecosystem's amazing. Mary says, "What's up, Mary?" She watches all my streams, by the way. That's why she comments down there. I was here. Peace. Apple has something in the works. They're going to fight to stay in the game of relevancy. Right, man. 6 months ago, I was on board with that whole comment. But like every day that goes by, every video we do about an AI update, I'm like, it's still not Apple.
and so you know what else kind of irked me, and I don't know why, but when they made that announcement that they were killing Project Titan and moving everything over to what was like a home robot that would follow you around, which was basically a screen. Mm-hmm. I was like, Amazon did that like 4 years ago. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, what are you guys doing over there?
Yeah. First cancel the car, then go outside, then go to outside help for AI. Fail. Yeah, and then Infinitely Finite says Apple is going just as well as the Apple car.
And that's what I'm worried about.
It sucks that I agree. I'm starting to agree with that. Like as far as I'm concerned, that hourglass is already tipped over. Like I'm just watching the sand go down. I'm like before we cut it.
Yeah.
As far as an investment go, it does still pay a dividend. Let the record reflect my top 2 dividend tickers are Nvidia and Meta. But so still a great balance sheet. I guess at what point? Oh, here's a good question. At what point does it not become? Who's the old guy that buys everything? Why am I not thinking of his name?
Warren Buffett.
Yeah. At what point is it no longer Warren Buffett's favorite stock? What gets it to? How much does it have to fail to not be a Warren Buffett ticker?
I think we need to keep an eye on iPhone sales.
Okay.
I think that will be a early warning shot. If those start falling,
mm-hmm.
that's when we'll know to start taking a real hard look at Apple.
What if it's already falling? Because Lisa's comment right here, and I have more to this, says, I can tell you my daughter no longer tells me she needs the newest phone every time another one comes out. Her text must be blue. You raised her well. The new iPhone has the USB-C.
Yeah.
This is the first time I haven't gone out and got a new iPhone. Usually I just get a new iPhone when it comes out. I use mine all the time, so by about the time a new iPhone does come out, like my battery life does kind of suck. and
Yeah.
I'm on it, throughout unless it's Friday and I'm asleep. I'll give the chat that. But like I'm on it just all day. But yeah, this usually I'm excited to get a new phone. This time I was like, nah, there's no rush.
Yeah.
I still haven't got it. If that made sense.
Yeah. I mean, their cameras when they come out are actually pretty good, but then Samsung releases something that's 5 times better when it from an actual optical thing.
Is it though?
It's usually better.
No, I don't know about that. I know everyone says it is, but don't they just do a digital zoom and then AI kind of helps it out? Is that not what's going on, or is it an actual optical zoom?
It doesn't matter.
I don't want a painted drawing, but I will say the one thing that pisses me off the absolute most about my iPhone camera is that if it senses it's a darker image, it'll tell you to hold still and it keeps the shutter open longer.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't want that. It's like, hold still. No, stop. I am trying. Just take the stupid picture as is. I like what I see on the screen.
Yeah.
Take it. That drives me nuts that it's on automatically and you have to turn it off. I want that thing to stay off until I turn it back on. And I don't know who I have to choke at Apple, but the next time I mess a picture up, because I'm trying to like get my phone out and take a picture real quick, but it's dark, so it tells me to hold still and I miss it. That's happening. I'm going to a headquarters and I'm going to choke whoever's involved until they agree with me that that's stupid and they're going to make the little update and turn that thing off permanently.
Oh my God, that's
Here's an Apple guy, Peter. He says, "Have faith, own Apple, don't trade it." That's so. Even you're talking to someone who trades for a living. I have a group that trades. It's actually not one of the top traded tickers. There's a few that will buy calls and puts and take some directional trades. But I think a lot of us just own it. Now I own it and sell contracts against it to the gamblers. So it's still weekly, every bi-weekly income for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree there. It's not one of the best tickers because the premium's just not there. But where it makes up in premium is usually more a safer ticker. It's what makes it a crappy ticker to trade. There's just not the movement. You're going to tie up a lot of capital for it to go down $3. Like, all right, if I want $3 in movement, there's a million other tickers I could buy.
Yeah, I mean the move of them being a growth story started in 2007 when they released the iPhone, right? And that's just when it went nuts. Now, what's their growth story? I mean, they're going to have to transition into the AI area. Whether I mean, I know they're still a hardware company, but they still have to be able to incorporate that into their ecosystem, or the ecosystem is going to fail.
Yeah, it will. It will be the walkie-talkie.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we should have put in the. I guess it was walkie-talkie versus Apple iPhone. Gosh, is this really about to be the next Yahoo? How many people went broke when Yahoo just fell off the map? Because Yahoo was publicly traded.
Yeah.
Who rode that thing all the way down?
Are they not anymore? I guess they're not, are they? I mean, it's still around.
I've never traded it. I have a Yahoo email. Someone on my team also has an AOL email address. I've never looked at their publicly traded.
I did see that. Someone still has an AOL email.
Did you see that on Google Drive?
No, it's in the Patreon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't imagine that happening.
I don't know. I mean, the short story, I'm gonna knock it down a peg and focus on some other stuff for at least for a while until they come out with something new.
That's where I'm at, because I do think, and if you're in my Discord, I just posted a poll for the mentorship. Do we think the stock market's going to actually pull back this time? Finally broke out of that range, and I think right now I'm bearish. I think we actually might get a decent pullback. A pullback is anywhere from 1% to 9%, and I think we're getting a deeper pullback. And at that point, I'm sure Apple's not going to avoid that like it has in the past. But at that point, I'll be buying up all the other things. And when the market does turn around, let's say it drops 9%, turns around and recovers, that move alone will probably put Apple in the number 10 spot, just because how much I will have put into the other tickers.
Yeah.
I mean, I already told you Palantir's tied with Apple, and Palantir is what I consider speculative. and that's only tied because it's sold off. Now, if that pushes back up, Apple's for sure right back down. Then we got what? CrowdStrike, Amazon. It sounds weird saying I'm going to have more Amazon than Apple. I kind of feel like those two will probably battle for the 10th spot.
We still need to do our video on NVIDIA.
Yeah, just buy it. First, we're going to do a video on Meta and what it takes to not own that. Okay, so NVIDIA was during the NVIDIA GTC event. There's a picture in the background of $100 trillion market cap company.
Yeah.
Do you think Apple ever hits that?
No.
How many do you think hit that?
Maybe one, maybe two.
Are they Tesla and NVIDIA?
NVIDIA for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a toss-up between, my opinion, toss-up between Tesla and Microsoft.
Yeah. You mean like tie for second place for Meta?
Yeah.
Meta hits that first. Yeah. All right. Mary
Microsoft's a beast.
They are. And they're all in AI. That's something we probably should have been talking about this stream. Not to drag it on any longer than it needs to be, but
yeah, I think we should do our NVIDIA talk, mm-hmm. And then I also think we should spend some time on Microsoft because they're putting their eggs in every AI basket, not just one or two. Like they're making sure that whoever is the winner, they're part of
have a piece of it. Yeah,
yeah.
They are essentially the head. If this was a coin, Apple would be the tail side and Microsoft would be the head side right now.
Yeah.
If not, Microsoft would be the heads and tails and Apple would be like the ridges on the side. And we're about to flip that coin and see if it lands sideways. Because right now, I think for Apple to beat Microsoft, the coin probably would have to land on its side. So that's probably a better analogy.
Yeah.
It'd have to come down, fall in the crack in the hardwood floors and land vertical on its side. Microsoft's absolutely killing it. And because right now people are watching this, if they're watching on a computer, it's a Microsoft device or Apple. If it's their phone, it's Apple or Google.
Right.
It's what makes Apple a titan is right now, no matter how you're watching, there's a 50-50 chance it's an Apple device.
Oh, crap. And I forgot about Google. Google's way up there too. Oh man, it's a 4-person race.
Who's your 4?
I still have NVIDIA, Microsoft, Google. Shoot, who's the 4th one? Why am I drawing a blank?
Oh, probably because it's not your number 1 spot. It's Meta.
Oh, Tesla. Duh. Tesla, Google, NVIDIA, Microsoft are my top 4.
I still think Microsoft, Meta.
Those are my AI.
It sucks that even on an Apple stream, we can't even bring up Apple in the AI conversation.
I think Meta's gonna be my number 5.
What? 1 through 5? I still can't.
All right.
Still can't believe it. Palantir is the wild card. Yeah, we've agreed there. Not turned into a Palantir stream, but it's a good wild card, I think. Allocation wise, yes, it's a wild card. All right. So for everyone in the comments, I want everyone to give their opinion. It'd be cool if you could say if you're an Apple person or not, because I know Android people are going to come out like, "Oh, Apple sucks." I want to see who's got an unbiased opinion on is Apple fumbling this one, or are they a sleeping giant? I want to see where everyone's heads at are on this. Because you brought up a good point. Watch the iPhone sales. Lisa's daughter's not doing it. I haven't done it, and I go out and just buy things just because. And so, not that I am certainly a sample size of anything, but I'm just certain I'm not alone.
Sure.
And is that already the first sign of there's just nothing to chase at this point? Right. There's no need. Yeah. And we have a very real need as far as AI around the corner, a real need or a want. And here we are, biggest tech company, absolute giant, behemoth, and we've got nothing. I've got Siri, who's gone off twice this time. We've said her name 100 times. Uh, like what's up, Apple? And last question: how much blame do you put on Tim Cook, and should he be replaced?
100%, and I do. I think he needs to be replaced.
Nvidia should just buy Apple. That's it.
Yeah, I think he's had his time, and the fact that he started the Apple Car and spent so much money on that and did not really focus on AI until a month ago.
Yeah,
that's piss poor leadership.
See, I think ditching the car to bring up AI, to work on AI, was a smart move.
I keep hearing that, but he should recognize that sooner.
I think so. I think the overall, I don't know. That's, I guess that would be to each one's opinion. The AI race should have been the cavalry for the AI race, not the start of it or the bringing it in.
Right.
Like it should have been like, hey, we're understaffed. Let's just cancel that and move everyone over here. It should be a manpower thing, not a let's finally get this thing in the works.
Well, and to your point earlier, they could have done both. They could have kept. I mean, they've got $40 billion in cash. They could have started an AI project a while ago, even with the car project ongoing.
Yeah, and that's astounding that Apple just started working on AI. I have to wonder if that is BS and they have something big brewing, and that's why I question everybody. I've said they were a sleeping giant, but right now it's kind of like when you light a firework and the fuse runs out, and you're like, oh crap. So you watch it for a little bit. And you're like, is this thing gonna do I go up to it? Is this thing gonna blow up right now, or is it gonna be a complete dud?
And you know what? I would happen to be wrong. I would if they just came out, within the next 6 months and say, here's all of the stuff that's going on, and it blows my mind. I would be so happy. But right now, I'm just.
Yeah, they need to. Tim Cook is an operator, but not a visionary. He has a poor record of launching any breakthroughs. See, and that's where I almost have a bone to pick with people's opinions, or just maybe my opinion itself. The CEO, how much are you actually in charge of that? I think it's your job to find that talent. I don't think you need to be a visionary. To some extent, I guess you do. But if you suck at it, like I suck at talking to humans, like I'm just a robot. That's why I'm gonna have you on here now. There's things to put in place that you should at least have the enough vision to delegate. So I will say, whether you're a visionary or not, this should have been handled already.
I'll just say that let's say he's not a visionary, but he's good at execution, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he's a good business operator and good at execution. When someone said, "Hey, maybe we should develop this AI area," he probably should have said, "Yeah."
Yeah, he definitely should have on that one.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up. I want to know everyone's comment though. Yeah, are they fumbling it, or are they a sleeping giant?
Yeah,
I guess it could all just be a gut feeling. It's not like anybody has anything to work on.
No, we haven't. Yeah, right. This is all just our opinion. No, we have no inside information. It's just what we feel.
But I'm the same with Lisa. Like, how are you just now?
Mm-hmm.
Just now doing this, and I heard about Siri 2.0. I'm like, all right, here we go. And then it's like, nothing. No, like that should be like, let's go, get this thing going, get it in gear, wake up. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I've said enough. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.
See you guys.